You've seen the terrifying footage, Japanese pilots hurling themselves into Allied ships. The legend says these suicide missions were unstoppable, but the truth is shocking. Most kamikaze attacks failed to hit their target at all. So why did Japan's last hope weapon fall so short? By 1944, Japan was desperate. Its navy shattered, its air force dwindling. American bombers were reducing Japanese cities to ash. The answer was kamikaze, young men ordered to sacrifice themselves. But here's the first problem. Most were barely trained pilots. Some had only a few hours of flight experience before their mission. Second problem, the distance to reach U.S. fleets was enormous. Fuel shortages meant many never even made it to the target zone. Thousands simply vanished over the ocean. And the Americans had radar, spotting incoming planes miles away. Defenses were brutal. Only about 14% of kamikaze missions ever hit a ship. Most were shot down long before impact, a fiery death with no effect on the enemy. Each U.S. carrier bristled with hundreds of guns. Many planes never even got close. Poor training meant even survivors missed their targets. One pilot wrote, "We are like eggs thrown at a stone wall." Enemy fighters also hunted them down in swarms. Few kamikaze ever even saw their target. For every ship hit, dozens of planes and lives were wasted. And even when they did hit, the damage was often limited. Carriers were designed to absorb punishment. Destroyers and smaller ships were more vulnerable. But the numbers didn't add up. Thousands lost for only a few successes. Still, Japan doubled down on the strategy. Many recruits were teenagers, some barely 17. Families were pressured into celebrating their sacrifice. But by late 1945, U.S. crews had learned to expect them. Each mission became less effective than the last. Japan was running out of pilots, fuel, and planes. Meanwhile, America's air war burned Japan from the sky. No kamikaze could stop that tide. Most never had a chance. They died unseen, unheard, unremembered. One wrote in his diary, "We are told this is honor, but it feels like waste." In their final moments, pilots bowed, then climbed into planes they would never return from. Across the ocean, U.S. sailors stood ready every dawn. Radar picked up blips long before the pilots could see ships. Fast escorts shielded the carriers, moving like guardians in the sea. The dive was dramatic, but almost always fatal before impact. When a plane did break through, the cost was human, but rarely decisive. Even the worst damage rarely sank a carrier. Damage control teams were drilled, disciplined, unstoppable. U.S. command saw kamikazes as a grim nuisance, not a strategic threat. By 1945, Japan's circle of defense collapsed. Airfields stood silent, filled with the wreckage of wasted sacrifice. The islands Japan swore to defend were falling one by one. Cities lay in ruins, and kamikazes could not stop the firebombs. Then came the weapon that ended everything. No kamikaze, no army, no navy could answer the atomic bomb. In September 1945, Japan surrendered unconditionally. The young pilots were remembered as martyrs, but their sacrifice had changed nothing. To Americans, they were tragic enemies, brave, but wasted. Thousands of planes, thousands of men, for almost no result. The U.S. Navy emerged stronger than ever, while the relics of the kamikaze rust beneath the sea. The myth of unstoppable suicide planes was just that, a myth. They were not demons, they were boys sent to die, and almost every mission ended in failure.